I'm not entirely sure that we're gonna need. Excuse me. That we're gonna need more than one video, but we'll see what happens. We start with. I don't want to say simple news, but an update, but more an update on Impact Wrestling's next pay-per-view, No Surrender, set to take place at in Las Vegas, Nevada, on February 28th. Headlined by Josh Alexander, finally defending his Impact Wrestling World Championship against Rich Swann. Rich Swann was the champion who dropped the title to Kenny Omega when Kenny Omega came into the company back in 2020 and never got his rematch. So this is almost 2 years overdue for Rich Swann going against the reigning, defending, undisputed Impact Wrestling World Champion, Josh Alexander. And also, on the event, Masha Slamovich will challenge Impact Wrestling Women's Knockouts Champion, Mickie James, in what I would only assume to be a continuation of the last rodeo, that if Mickie James loses, it is very likely she may retire. But also, another match has been announced for the card, and that is a number one contendership 4-way to crown who will fight Josh Alexander next. More than likely, it seems like, at Turning Point in April. But the... Oh, sorry, February 24th, not February 28th. February 24th. Wait. Yeah, February 24th. Yeah, sorry. But the way that Impact Wrestling is going to determine who is in the 4-way match, it will be the winners of 4 singles matches, including Dirty Dango, Brian Myers, Shira, PCO. Shira versus PCO, Brian Myers versus Dirty Dango, Steve Macklin versus Rhino, and Eddie Edwards versus Heath. So it is an interesting grouping of the 4, and outside of Eddie Edwards, everyone else, to my knowledge, and maybe Brian Myers, I think Brian Myers actually challenged Josh Alexander during his, what has become a very lengthy run as Impact Wrestling World Champion. But I do believe Brian Myers challenged him. I do believe that Eddie Edwards challenged him. Other than that, everyone else has not challenged Josh Alexander for the belt yet. So it would be an interesting turn of events seeing any of them challenge Josh for the title at this point, because it would be fresh challengers. And that's one thing that Impact Wrestling is keeping with, that it seems like, to me, they are doing their best to have fresh challengers continue to challenge the world champion, and just finding new challengers left, right, and center, which is part of the fun of doing this, that if you can have fresh challengers challenge the champion, then it keeps the title reign fresh. And that's exactly what Impact Wrestling is doing. They're keeping the title reign fresh. And I have to applaud them for that. I do have to applaud them for that. Being able to keep the title reign fresh. Based on what I'm seeing also, that this will... this is... Well, likely, basically, based on what I'm seeing, there will be more matches announced in the coming weeks as we build up to No Surrender on February the 24th. Now, there may be some that are wondering what happened to Anderson and Gallows, as Anderson and Gallows were premierly featured in WWE near the end of last year during AJ Styles' feud with the Judgment Day. And also, Carl Anderson was frequently talked about in the news due to the fact that he was open weight champion, or never open weight champion in New Japan. But since the start of the year, we pretty much have not seen or heard from the OC since. And basically, the reason is because the OC has instructed WWE not to bring them to the shows if they're not being used. So the best thing I can say is they are being held off until creative catches up with them. But according to a report, they are signed with the company until at least 2027, and the reason is, the reason is because Triple H helped them negotiate back in 2019 and felt bad that they were released prematurely when they got released in one of the budgetary cuts. I think it was 2020. I could be wrong though. It might have been 2021. I don't remember when they were released, but I know the first place they went after they were released was Impact Wrestling. But great. That's great for Anderson and Gallows that they are signed under contract with WWE for as long as they're under contract with WWE. I just hope that they do things in WWE outside of being associated with AJ Styles, because just associating with AJ Styles is not going to get him anywhere unless WWE brings in a Trios Championship, which, even though they do have some trios, I think it would do them more harm than good bringing in the Trios titles, especially considering the fact that one of the trios already hold both tag team titles, that being the Bloodline. One thing that is also been the talk of the town, which we will get to, is NXT talent working with specific independent shows, but we will get to that in a second. As I've also found out that there are new wrestling documentaries premiering on REELZ tonight. REELZ is going to be the home of MLW Underground starting next week on February the 7th. So I guess they are freshening up their content stream as they are premiering new wrestling documentaries tonight on Roddy Piper, Chyna, and Owen Hart. I believe it is tonight at, I think it's 9, 10, and 11, if I remember right. I think it's 9, 10, and 11. The report came from PW Insider that there's new Chyna, Roddy Piper, and Owen Hart documentaries premiering tonight on REELZ. The best I can say, I don't know if on my in my cable package that I get REELZ, but the best thing I can say is check your local listings to see if you have REELZ in your television package, and if you do, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 10 p.m. and 11 p.m. The documentary trifecta starts with Chyna, and then goes to Owen Hart, and then goes to Roddy Piper. So, if you're looking for wrestling documentaries to watch tonight, REELZ is your place to do it. Just search. If you don't know what channel REELZ is, look it up. Check your local listings to see if you get REELZ. If you do, 9 p.m. Eastern, 10 p.m. Eastern, and 11 p.m. Eastern tonight, several wrestling documentaries for your viewing pleasure. And I think I'm just gonna split the news videos again today because we're already at 9 minutes. So I think I'm just gonna split the news videos and give you 2 instead of just 1. So with that being said, I will see you in the next video.